Boy and His Stepmother. Once upon a time, there was a boy who had charge of a cow, which he used to tend while grazing. One day, the cow said to him, "How is it that you are becoming so emaciated?" The boy replied, "My stepmother does not give me sufficient food." The cow then said to him, "Do not tell anyone, and I will give you food. Go to the jungle and get leaves with which to make a plate and cup." The boy did as he was ordered, and behold, the cow from one horn shook boiled rice into the leaf plate, and from the other a relish for the rice into the cup. This continued daily for a considerable time until the boy became sleek and fat. The stepmother came to know of the relation which existed between the cow and her herd boy, and to be revenged upon them, she feigned illness. To her attendants, she said, "I cannot possibly live." They asked, "What would make you live?" She replied, "If you kill the cow, I will recover." They said, "If killing the cow will cure you, we will kill it." The boy, hearing that the life of the cow, which supplied him with food, was threatened, ran to her and said, "They are about to kill you." Hearing this, the cow said, "You go and make a rope of rice straw, make some parts thick and some thin, and put it in such a place as they can easily find it. When they are about to kill me, you seize hold of my tail and pull." The next day, they proceeded to make arrangements to kill the cow, and finding the rope prepared by the boy the day before, they tied her with it to a stake. After she was tied, the boy laid hold of her tail and pulled so that the rope by which she was secured was made taut. A man now raised an axe and felled her by a blow on the forehead. As the cow staggered, the rope broke, and she and the boy were borne away on the wind and alighted in an unexplored jungle. From the one cow, other cows sprang, in number equal to a large herd, and from them another large herd was produced. The boy then drove his 2 herds of cows to a place where they could graze, and afterwards took them to the river to drink. The cows, having quenched their thirst, lay down to rest, and the boy bathed, and afterwards combed and dressed his hair. During this latter operation, a hair from his head fell into the river and was carried away by the current. Some distance lower down, a princess with her female companions and attendants came to bathe. While the princess was in the water, she noticed the hair floating downstream and ordered someone to take it out, which, when done, they measured and found it to be 12 cubits long. The princess, on returning home, went to the king, her father, and showing him the hair she had found in the river, said, "I have made up my mind to marry the man to whom this hair belonged." The king gave his consent and commanded his servants to search for the object of his daughter's affection. They, having received the king's command, went to a certain barber and said to him, You dress the hair and beards of all the men in this part of the country. Tell us where the man with hair 12 cubits long is to be found." The barber, after many days, returned unsuccessful. The king's servants, after a long consultation as to whom they should next apply to, decided upon laying the matter before a tame parrot belonging to the king. Going to the parrot, they said, "Oh, parrot, can you find the man whose hair is 12 cubits long?" The parrot replied, "Yes, I can find him." After flying here and there, the parrot was fortunate enough to find the boy. It was evening, and having driven his 2 herds of cattle into their pen, he had sat down and was employed in dressing his long hair. His flute was hanging on a bush by his side. The parrot sat a while, considering how she might take him to the king's palace. Seeing the flute, the idea was suggested to her that by means of it she might contrive to lead him where she desired. So taking it up in her beak, she flew forward a little and alighted in a small bush. To regain possession of his flute, the boy followed. But on his approach, the bird flew away and alighted on another bush a short distance ahead. In this way, she continued to lead him by flying from bush to bush, until at length she brought him to the king's palace. He was then brought before his majesty, and his hair measured, and found to be 12 cubits in length. The king then ordered food to be set before him, and after he was refreshed, the betrothal ceremony was performed. As it was now late, they prevailed upon him to pass the night as the guest of the king. Early in the morning he set out, but as he had a long distance to go, the day was far advanced before he reached the place where his cattle were. They were angry at having been kept penned up to so late an hour, and as he removed the bars to let them out, they knocked him down and trampled upon his hair in such a way as to pull it all out, leaving him bald. Nothing daunted, he collected his cows and started on his return journey. But us he drove them along. One after another vanished, so that only a few remained when he reached the king's palace. On his arrival, they noticed that he had lost all his hair, and on being questioned, he related to the king all that had fallen him. His hair being gone, the princess refused to marry him, so instead of becoming the king's son-in-law, he became one of his hired servants.